Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. My name is Spencer Walsh. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Really, really appreciate it. Today, CNN is interviewed some of the Trump conspiracy theorists of Qanon for a really crazy segment. We'll take a look at that and how they're invading right-wing politics. Also today, healthcare companies and others are really sucking the marrow out of you, the regular people, in today's economy. Also, the NRA could go bankrupt or really have some financial trouble and may be unable to exist in its current form. Is this a blessing from the heavens? I don't know. Also, Sarah Huckabee Sanders going on a dangerous anti-media tirade. Tulsi Gabbard's primary struggle. New York Times messes up. And Bill Hemmer is just finished telling a White House aide to, quote-unquote, go on offense. I really found this hilarious. Go on offense against the media. Like, this has probably been the least friendly media administration in modern history. Like, there's no doubt about that. But, yeah, as we know, like, all presidents hate the media, but this is, like, on a whole nother level. Yeah, so listen, I mean, I don't really like this either, as we get to our lead story data, but CNN ran a segment that involved talking to Donald Trump supporters about Qanon, which is an online conspiracy theory that involves all the right wing's favorite ingredients. We got Hillary Clinton. Oh, that's a very good one. Child sex rings, very, very popular. Remember Pizzagate? There's some crazy stuff to do with this. And, I mean, what right-wing conspiracy theory could be complete without a heroic Donald Trump? So this is what they got here. So this is a segment. Here's pretty much an online conspiracy theory. And here is pretty much how I'm going to explain QAnon. Because a lot of you normal people out there, luckily, you don't know what QAnon is. But they just recently showed up to a Donald Trump rally, and they have been online for quite a long period of time, gathering followers, etc. So I'm going to play for you a little bit, maybe a little bit of explainer about what QAnon is. Yeah, so this is kind of Will Menaker, kind of explaining the basis. Will Menaker is a podcast host on the left. But here he is explaining kind of the basis for QAnon.
Here's what's so amazing about it. The Chud phenomenon now we saw with Pizzagate, and now we're seeing with this new iteration, are being driven mad, even more insane than they were before, by getting what they wish for.
It has driven them totally insane. It's like staring into the black sun.
Because their hero, their president, doesn't get that respect that's traditionally afforded to the president because there are no norms anymore. Because he's liked by, 35% of the country.
Yeah,
he's despised by his own party. He's disrespected by the media, by the academics, by the SJWs.
By literally the entire
all the
entertainment
people
industry.
He was supposed to crush.
Yeah.
So they have to justify and say it's still a war. And he's still an insurgent.
No, he's hated by 65% of the country who are pedophiles. But the
Okay.
other 35% like him.
I'm going to try to explain this now. If you're a listener of the show, if you're a new listener, I'm going to fill you in. Many of our jokes of the previous year of 2017 have sprung from the well of Pizzagate.
That's not true.
Many of our
Anyway, so that's a clip from Chapo Trap House. They're talking about what QAnon is, and pretty much they give you kind of the reason why I play this clip is they kind of give you the basis for what QAnon is. It stems from the root of, like, the Trump supporter theory that, oh my gosh, what is going on? We beat all these people. We crushed them in the best electoral defeat ever. Why aren't they giving us any respect? They're not giving us any respect. They're not putting some respect on our name. And that is, like, really, really triggering them because they want that respect. They need that respect to feel like the country understands them. So pretty much what they do is people like Hillary Clinton, people like Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks, all the celebrities that have been pretty much have took big dumps on Trump over the past couple of years. Like, they are now, according to the QAnon people, they have been arrested, and not only are arrested, but they are under a secret arrest, so they can still live their lives, but they have secret ankle monitors so that the feds can always track them. This includes people like Hillary Clinton, other types of celebrities, all this of kind of the entertainment industry, all the people that they hate with a passion, but still have opposed Donald Trump even though he beat them. Here is further explanation from Chapo Trap House again.
Is something that's going on right now called hashtag QAnon. It refers to things that are being posted on 4chan by someone who goes by the name QAnon, and the Q refers to like the Q level like classification or like top level security clearance that this person supposedly has.
I thought it was a James Bond reference.
No, it's not. And the people who believe it think that this is someone very close to Trump who knows the intimate details of all the things that are really going on.
It's like the something awful Bush administration.
By the way, anybody can post to this message board anonymously.
Yeah, that's why top secret agents use it.
Exactly. They know it's the best. Well, there's a certain logic to it because, like, if they wanted to get their message out to the people who they really cared about, 4chan probably would be the best way to disseminate that information. It is the mutated version of the Pizzagate conspiracy that we're all familiar with, which is that John Podesta and Hillary Clinton trafficking and sacrifice ring out of the basement of a pizza restaurant in D.C. So that was the thing, like, essentially this conspiracy is now dealing with the fact that Donald Trump is president, Jeff Sessions heads the Department of Justice. So why are John Podesta and Hillary Clinton still free if there is all this well-documented evidence of them literally raping and sacrificing children?
Mm-hmm.
This new conspiracy now has become even more all-encompassing and even more unfalsifiable, which is really like the tell that you're dealing with mental illness, is if you have a belief that cannot be disproven. And the belief is now, like, it centers around the idea that all of these people involved with Pizzagate, Hillary Clinton, Huma, John Podesta, every celebrity in Hollywood who is also a pedophile and child molester, as we said, there's a kernel of truth to all conspiracy theories.
Yep.
They have all been secretly arrested and secretly prosecuted by Trump and his Justice Department. And evidence of that is that they're wearing large, bulky clothing when they go outside in December in Washington, D.C. Yeah. So that they are covering up the fact that they are now all tagged with ankle bracelets and monitors because they have already been arrested and secretly prosecuted for their crimes of child sacrifice.
It's why...
Yeah, so there you have it. That pretty much gives you an idea of what QAnon is. And these people are big Trump supporters who recently showed up to his Tampa rally. And this is them now, and this is fun, being interviewed. So this segment, which ran on Thursday night during Anderson Cooper's show, featured Trump supporters waiting in the rain to see the president at a rally in Pennsylvania wearing T-shirts and signs that referenced Q as a nickname for the high-level government official who has apparently chosen to leak state secrets to 4chan. So there's no evidence for this or anything QAnon's people allege whatsoever. Just full disclaimer there. Very important. But still, also, this again, reporting here on this from Splinter, and CNN is going to interview this guy. So
at President Trump's rally tonight.
Take a listen. All right. This is Anderson Cooper pretty much introducing this segment, and we're going to play for you right now a little bit of this report from Andy Coop. Anderson Cooper here.
The 17th letter of the alphabet. Are you holding a big red, white, and blue Q? Why do you have that?
It's a movement, man. It's the shift. I can feel it coming. Some call it the Great Awakening.
You're wearing a shirt that says Q, WWG, 1WGA. What does that mean?
It means where we go one, we go all.
QAnon is the people that believe in what Trump's trying to do to change our country.
That is a generalization. More specifically, what QAnon is a fringe movement in which many baseless conspiracy theories are discussed on the internet, organized around the idea of an anonymous but well-connected person or persons nicknamed Q. Your shirt says, "The storm is here, QAnon." What does that mean to you?
Well, I've been following all the posts since October 28th.
On the internet, from QAnon.
Right, started on 4chan.
The person or people who say they're Q.
Right.
What do you think Q is, by the way?
It's an entity of 10 or less people that have
involved with the government?
High clearance, security clearance.
And how do you know that?
Well, I'm just telling you, this is what it appears to be.
What it appears to be. So you don't have any proof of that. That's what you're guessing it is.
And you don't have any proof there isn't.
We've all been gathering online and talking together as Americans and uniting. And
do you think it's maybe just it makes you comfortable talking with other frustrated, sometimes angry people?
Yes.
But maybe it's not true because there's no evidence of it. It's just stuff that's being talked about on the internet, right?
There hasn't been any non-evidence yet.
A major mantra among QAnon followers? The press is the enemy.
You guys are.
So you don't believe in the First Amendment?
Oh, I totally believe in the First
Amendment. Well, you don't. You just said the press is the enemy.
Well, you guys are weaponized. You guys are totally weaponized by the CIA.
What is that?
You guys are weaponized
by the CIA.
by the CIA.
I don't know anybody in the CIA except a couple of people I've interviewed over the years.
Fair. Okay.
But weaponized, what does that even mean? Like, you say stuff that doesn't even mean anything.
The
Weaponized
term
by the CIA.
conspiracy theorist. The term.
Do you think I'm weaponized by the CIA?
Maybe not to your knowledge, and that's unfortunate.
You believe there is a deep state.
Yes.
And what do you think that deep state's doing? You think they're running this country?
I think they were, and they're petrified now
And do you
because they're losing their control.
But Donald Trump's the president. He's running the country, right?
Yeah, but he's having to fight against the
I mean,
deep
he
state.
said he could do it all himself. Everything would be so easy when he came into office. And you think he's fighting with the deep state a year and a half into his term?
Yeah, so this goes on and on and on and on and on about him pretty much arguing with these lunatic people who think there hasn't been any non-evidence yet. It's deeply difficult to prove a negative. It's really some mind-numbing stuff. These people are really quite dumb. And, like, these are the people who should not be getting any kind of, like when people talk about, oh, we need to talk with these Trump supporters. No, you don't need to talk with these type of Trump supporters, because these people are, as the clip from Trapos we just played for you, they're mentally ill. I'm sorry. Like, these are people who have these beliefs that have been weaponized. He'd use this terminology, but they've been weaponized, and they've been so thoroughly controlled. They're so thoroughly convinced of this that even if they see some type of improvement, like direct improvement to their face, it's not worth reasoning with these people, trying to get them off their high horse. It's just some crazy, incredible stuff. Now, they're still fighting against Trump's the alleged deep state, which in this instance is an Illuminati-like group of the country's most powerful people, like the Clintons, who are mired in this scandal to cover up the child sex rings. As you would expect, true believers think this has come to the murder of DNC staffer Seth Rich for knowing too much, and they believe Trump is secretly rounding up and prosecuting these kingpins for crimes against God and country. It's really quite a lot to say. I mean, we live in deranged times. These are deranged people who should not really be giving any, or really be getting any airtime whatsoever, because this is really some quite ridiculous stuff, and it's something that just does not deserve any attention, does not deserve any kind of exposure whatsoever, and it is just it's not good, is what it is. All right, so we're going to move on now to our next story, and the Department of Labor today, they announced the latest employment figures about jobs today as the month turns to August. More jobs were added and unemployment is lower, but wages only increased by 0.2%, or a 2.7% increase over last year. It's lower than the 3.5% wage growth economists say should be expected from such strong growth, according to NPR. CNBC described today's wage growth figure as frustratingly low. People who do not, for example, have yachts or a finance guy probably already knew this, because these jobs are out there, but they're just not paying enough. Like, the wages for people aren't rising. People can be very well employed. Like, that's good for them. If they're well employed, it's perfectly fine. They get the job, but there is something deeper to just employment numbers. Wages increasing by just 0.2%, while we continue to see the top 1% getting staggeringly rich, and the GOP is just adding to this so incredibly much. Like, this is like they're adding to this with the Trump tax cuts. They're adding to this with possibly more tax cuts, as we discussed on the last show. But still, they're like, these jobs are out there, but they're just not paying enough. And we have two stories from this week that offer insight on this situation. Rich people have money, they always need more of it, and they don't, under any circumstances, want to share it with you. Axios reported this morning the healthcare industry will make massive profits in the second quarter of 2018, more than any quarter in the past 12 months. How do they achieve this impressive feat? Axios attributes it to two things: a Republican tax bill, which cut the income tax cost of one company by 93% last quarter, and the growing sales of prescription drugs, medical devices, tests, and procedures that reflects both higher prices and more quantities sold. Pfizer, one of the biggest drug manufacturers in the U.S., has raised prices on its drugs just in 2018 alone. So yeah, again, we talk about this situation, like people under Republican government, they feel more able to do things that will benefit them, and it's not like Obama was really holding them back, but it seems to be they're feeling more emboldened.